What's up, everybody? I'm feeling good today. Victory of the Vikings. Kings in the North. Don't mess with us. Anyways, here today to review the Steve Jobs movie. Steve Jobs. If you were born under a rock, then Steve Jobs is a guy, an important guy. He was the CEO of Apple. I'm sure that you could be watching this on an Apple product right now. Basically, this movie shows the behind the scenes of 3 of Steve Jobs' product launches. And if you actually follow the creation of this movie, you know that it's been incredibly turbulent. David Fincher dropped out, emails were leaked in that Sony hacking situation, and the movie actually changed studios at one point. Not only that, but Christian Bale and Leonardo DiCaprio passed on the role as Jobs, which then came to Michael Fassbender. But let's be honest here, Michael Fassbender is no downgrade, and he is fantastic in this movie, which doesn't really surprise me because, you know, he's Fassbender. He can pretty much probably do anything. Another person that I want to highlight in this film, though, is Kate Winslet. I'll be straight up honest, I didn't really follow this movie very much outside of all the turbulence once I actually got into a flow. So to be honest, I didn't even know she was even in it. And she was freaking fantastic. Her chemistry with Michael Fassbender in this movie is just perfect in every single way. Oscar nominations all around for these actors. But let's not beat around the bush here. This is a Sorkin movie. If you don't know, Aaron Sorkin is the writer, and all of his movies have a traditional style to them, which has had mixed results over the years, but it has culminated in some great movies. Especially one of my favorites, The Social Network, which actually has a very similar vibe to this movie, which isn't really surprising. It has that same dynamic that we're portraying this guy, and they're an innovator, and we're not going to put him in a good light just because he did all these great things. So really, honestly, him writing for this made just a lot of sense, and he hit it out of the park once again. I'm not going to say this is as punchy and as great as The Social Network, but it is still compelling, funny, and really just has a nice verve to it. I really love the way the scenes flow in and out of each other with really what seems like these long just dialogue takes. It's just wonderful. It has been proven though that no matter how good a Sorkin script is, you need a very solid director to bring this through. David Fincher did a beautiful job with The Social Network, and I think that while Danny Boyle here did a great job, once again, just like the writing by Sorkin himself, it just can't live up to that Social Network level. Social Network was just a perfect culmination of the actors, the director, the writer, all of it. But this is still greatness. This isn't diminishing anything that Steve Jobs has done. And what Danny Boyle does with this movie is still incredibly impressive. Going through these backstage hallways and rooms and just all these areas that would normally be kind of boring to look at, but he just makes it so winding and interesting as these characters just walk in and out, and they're so witty and creative. It's really just well-directed, well-acted, well-written movie that goes by actually very quickly. This is not a very long movie. It's quick, it's to the point, and it's incredibly compelling and interesting. If you have any interest in Steve Jobs whatsoever, you have to see this movie. It is so far above the Ashton Kutcher one, it's not even funny. Even if it isn't technically as biographical, but I like the daring in that. It's not your typical biopic with this 3-launch system. It really is just 3 launches. There's really only a couple scenes that are just flashbacks while these characters are talking in these scenes. Anything you see outside of these 3 scenes, it's just a flashback within the character's head they're just flashing back to. And I like the risk in that, and I think it's more compelling than a lot of the traditional biopics that have come out. Even if you're not interested in Jobs, I'd still really recommend this movie. You really do learn a lot about Jobs, but in a very different way than your normal biopic. You learn more through actions, who he is as a person, which is also what I liked about The Social Network You know, if it's done slightly different this way because of the style. The Social Network, because it was the rise up and not about the actual events of Facebook, it made it more of a compelling character story, which is kind of what made the, you know, and not a traditional biopic, it's also kind of a character study. This is the same way, so you know, with the 3 parts. So there's no, you know, part like in the Imitation Game where it's like, and then Alan Turing did this, this, and this, and then this, and then he died here. There's no part where it's like, and then Steve Jobs had the iPad, and the iPhone, and the iMac, and the iPad, not iMac, iPad, and then he died. There's nothing like that. It's just you see who this guy was as a person, his wit, his occasional charm, how much of an asshole he could be, and you get that all within basically 2 hours. I just really, really, really love this movie, and I'm going to give it an A. That's all for me on this Steve Jobs review. Of course, like always, I want to know what you all think. Comment below. What did you think of this movie? Did you like it? Did you not? Do you think the Kutcher one is better? Come on, you don't. And, of course, subscribe somewhere here in this screen area. Peace out.